Hello everyone, Kent Bressler here. I want to welcome you to Kent's Kidney Stories. During our time together over these podcasts, I'd like to discuss kidney disease. I'd like to tell you about my journey as a transplant patient, but also talk about dialysis, kidney donation, and just about anything else that might be of interest. Kent's Kidney Stories, podcast endorsed and sponsored by kidneysolutions.org. Hello, everyone out there in podcast land. Welcome to Kent's Kidney Stories. Together, let's make today the best we can. And let's put all our energy into living. Let's pray. Dear Jesus, the divine physician of souls, look upon us with eyes of mercy. May your healing hand rest upon us. May your life-giving powers flow into every cell of our bodies and into the depths of our souls, cleansing, purifying, and restoring us to wholeness and strength for service in your kingdom. We ask this in your name, our Holy Father. Amen.
Amen.
So, going to have a good day today. This is a capsule form of Kent's Kidney Stories where we talk to patients, which I love. All right. I did want to bring up one thing. The FDA has granted accelerated approval for Tarpeyo, Tarpeyo. This is a delayed release capsule that reduces proteinuria, increased protein levels in your urine, and it's in adults with primary IgA, nephropathy, at risk of rapid disease progression. In other words, this is a drug that slows the progress of kidney disease. We're thinking that it will. It needs further study, but it got a quick approval and it's being used, and we can hope that it will reduce the disease progression. That's the hope of this drug. This IgA nephropathy is also known as Berger's disease. Matter of fact, we have a gal that works with us here at Kidney Solutions who has Berger's, and it's a long-standing disease process. It takes forever to usually progress to end-stage renal disease, but it usually always does. It's not really established well in this arena, but it's brand new, and it's one of the things that I think is coming in kidney disease is to look for cures. This is not a cure. This is a treatment. So let's say that this all works out, people with IgA, and it's just going to explode over into the other kidney diseases too. So this randomized double-blind study is a good thing for kidney disease. Our main goal today is to let our listeners know about David Perchinsky. David has become a member of the Kidney Solutions family, and he's looking for a living donor. And when I say looking, he's praying daily and doing all the things that he needs to do. And we're just going to get his name out there in hopes that we can find a donor for him. He's got a really interesting story. He's a great guy. Matter of fact, he's become to be a close friend, and that's what usually happens when we get people into Kidney Solutions. So, David Perchinsky, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Let me ask you a quick question here. How much snow are you going to get today?
Well, unfortunately, too much. But they're saying the lighter portion of snow is going to happen today. There's going to be a lull up until about 1 o'clock tomorrow. And then we are going to get crushed in Minnesota pretty much Wednesday night through all day Thursday. So unfortunately, I don't have a snowmobile anymore. So that won't be in use.
You got a snowblower? Because they say 18 to 25 inches.
Unfortunately, because of my kidney disease, I can't operate one anymore. But I used to have a real big one. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, living up there, you live in Minneapolis, right? Is it on the border with Wisconsin?
Yeah, pretty much. Lakeville, Lakeville, Minnesota, which is south of the Twin Cities by about 20 minutes,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
probably about an hour and 15 minutes from the border of Wisconsin.
That's some beautiful country up there.
Yes, it is.
But
Yes,
it
it is.
has some real tough winters. Bless you, my
Ah,
friend.
thank you. Thank you. We definitely have some rough winters. We definitely do.
I can remember the days of digging out to get out and digging in to digging it out again to get back in. So yeah.
You bet. You bet.
Okay. So tell me about your kidney disease process. What's going on? What happened to you? Why are you on dialysis now?
Well, let's say, let me back up. In the late fall of 2017, I was mowing my grass and I had a berm in my backyard and I was mowing my grass and all of a sudden my strength literally just went out of my body and I had to sit down. I took my boots off and my feet were the size of small watermelons.
Mm, mm, mm.
And that was the first indication that kidney disease had struck. And at that point in time, I went to the hospital. I was diagnosed with kidney disease. They were telling me that it was because of undetected high blood pressure. And at the time, I was in my mid 40s. I was physically healthy, so there was really no need for me to go to the doctor. But ignorance is bliss. And I've heard many times that kidney disease is called the silent killer, and it really is. To kind of fast forward a little bit, around 2000, mid 2018, I was admitted to the hospital again. I had two small strokes and a minor heart attack, and it was all because of the kidney disease.
Exactly.
And to move forward even further, I met a phenomenal nephrologist who became my nephrologist, who I see on a weekly basis at my dialysis center. And he recommended a fistula to do in-center dialysis treatments. And it's been a long road. It's been a long road.
Oh gosh, yeah, yeah. So the question I always ask people is, did you ever have the opportunity to talk about living donation before you went on dialysis? Finding a
Absolutely
living donor?
never. Well, I shouldn't say absolutely not. Um, the information that they initially give you, the doctors give you, is very it's very general. These are the foods that you have to avoid. Um, you're probably going to end up on dialysis, and you need to get on the transplant list, and then go see a transplant center. Living donation wasn't really on in my wheelhouse at that point in time. But when I started to research a little bit more, researching through Twitter, I found Kidney Solutions, and that's what really got the ball rolling for me. Kidney Solutions, living donation.
If you had it to live over, of course, this is probably not a good thing to do. A what if? What if the doctor would have said to you, you know what? David, you have a disease that's not going to get any better, and we need to start working on finding a living donor for you, because that's the
Oh,
best way for you to get a handle on this kidney disease. Would that not have been better for you?
100%, 100%. And throughout this whole process, various various friends of mine have heard about my situation, and I've actually discovered a lot of friends that have had kidney transplants. Ironically, my head baseball coach in college got a kidney transplant, and he actually got a liver transplant. So he and I have talked
Oh, that's
hundreds of
perfect.
times. Yeah, he and I have talked about it numerous times. So his big push for me was living donation, living donation, living donation. But I really didn't understand what that entailed until I started asking questions. And I think being my best advocate, that has helped tremendously.
You hit it right on the head, because a person, even a trained person like me, I was an RN at the time when I was diagnosed. I always knew I didn't want to go on dialysis. I knew that because of
Yeah.
training. But more people I talk to, the less I hear that they are really told, here's a really good idea for you. We need to find a living donor. My doctor did that. And so I was blessed. But it doesn't happen very, very seldom where you're going to get the talk about, you ought to be looking for a donor first versus, okay, let's get ready for dialysis. Would you say that's a fair statement?
Oh, I would say that is a 100% statement. You do not want to go on dialysis. And yes, it is a life-saving procedure in many aspects. My in-center dialysis is phenomenal. They're lifesavers, they're life givers, but it is extremely difficult on your body. And when I started dialysis, and I was about a year and a half into dialysis, I became extremely weak, um, became very nauseous, and through my nephrologist insistence that I go see, that I get an angiogram, I ended up having 5 bypass.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So yes, it does happen, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend dialysis for anybody, and I'd 100% put my time and effort into finding a living donor before dialysis. But I wasn't really informed of
No,
that.
you weren't tuned for
I
that. You
wasn't.
were not tuned up for that. That was not the goal. The goal was
No.
to get, yeah. So that's the takeaway point of the conversation. The next
Yeah.
part of the conversation is, how in the world are we going to find one? How, what do you do? How does it happen? What are you doing? What's the best
Well,
route that you've found?
through your help and Shannon's help, which has been extraordinary for me. I the flyers that you guys helped me create, I passed those out at my local county library, and there's 60,000 people in my county. So hopefully those flyers go out. Hopefully somebody grabs one. I have a magnet on the side of my car that you guys produced for me. I've already had a couple questions from people from my local gym that I go to. Um, through social media, I think really telling your story is so hard to do because personally, I never really wanted to lay my sorrow on anybody. But as Shannon said to me one time, and correct me if I'm wrong, she had said one point in time that she would rather I take my story to social media than take it to my grave. So,
Yeah.
and that's very poignant. It's very poignant. So I've taken my story to Facebook, to Instagram, to Twitter. I try to update my Twitter account on a weekly basis in regards to how my dialysis is going. But like Shannon said, you'd rather take it to social media than to your local grave than to your grave.
Yeah, because you don't have, we don't live for here, so we got to get going. All right.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
the algorithm for donation has always been family first, and
Absolutely.
and
And unfortunately, my parents and my older brother, they're deceased. Um, and I really, yeah, so it's tough,
eh,
but
yeah, so
you know,
then you're relegated to working with any living person. You're relegated then, if that doesn't work, to find a living donor. You got to wait for, on the list, and that can take anywhere from 6 to 10 years. So
I I've already received a call November 20th for a kidney, but that fell through. So I'm it's really important, as you well know, to be compliant with the transplant list,
yes,
taking your medication properly. I'm now pretty much working out 4 days a week. I've been doing that for about a year now. That has helped me tremendously. Eating properly, nutrition is medicine. Proper nutrition has completely helped me. So I'm leaning into all the information to be a viable candidate for when I get a kidney transplant. I'll be I'll be successful. I know that.
absolutely. One of the things that you mentioned here is the fact that, and we always say this when we in the groups that we do and with patients, you never turn down a kidney. You know, you
Never,
never. I mean, if
never.
you have got to be. Now there are circumstances with the given kidney, but to me, you don't turn them down because you always have a chance to find a living donor. But if one comes along through the, the deceased donor list, you should evaluate it and then take it, in my opinion, because it's a transplant, right? You're going to be transplanted.
I've had a couple. I've had a former baseball player of mine that I coached, a fellow doctoral student that I went to school with, that have gone through the initial the process of blood draw, et cetera, to see if they're matched. But um, there's people out there. You just gotta, like Shannon said, I'm not going to take this story to my grave. I'm just not going to.
You can't do it. You take everything with a grain of salt, realizing that what if you don't tell people about what's going on with you, that you have a life-threatening condition that
Yep.
eventually, over the long haul, without transplant, will most likely kill you. All
Yep.
right. I mean, and that's the three things that we always talk about. You can get a transplant, and you get dialysis, or you just, as we talked about last night at length,
Yeah.
you prepare for death. But if you're out there in the world, you don't you take a look at you. If people could really see you, and when they look at you, they say, "What's wrong with you?" You say to yourself, "Well, I have kidney disease." You look fine. That's the problem with it. You don't look sick. If you look sick, then maybe people would be more empathetic towards you and try to figure out what it is. But they don't, because you look fine.
That's exactly what the librarian said to me when I went to the county library to see if I can pass out my flyers. She's like, "You don't look sick." And I said, "No, I'm 49 years old. I'm chronically fatigued. I'm weak pretty much 99% of the time. I feel like I had the flu, and I have kidney disease, and I need a transplant. I definitively do."
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's it. That's it. And
that
so consequently, if you don't tell a person that you have
yep,
kidney disease, if when they ask you, "Oh, how are you? Oh, you're looking great. How are you feeling?" You need to tell them just exactly what you did. You don't say, "I'm fine," because you're not,
no,
right? You're
I'm
not.
not.
All
No,
right. And they need to realize that. And that's not for sympathy. That's for knowledge and education.
yep, yep.
Because if you don't tell them what you have, first of all, they can't pray for you, and second of all, they can't donate to you,
That's right.
or they can't
And that
pass the information on.
that is so hard though for people who have kidney disease, who have chronic diseases, to have a conversation with somebody who says, "Oh, you look great." And personally, my story is I don't like to put my ills onto somebody else. I just don't. I never have been that person. And I feel like that's probably the case for the majority of people with a chronic disease. They don't want to put their angst on other people, but it's real.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
people who donate, who do a living donation of their kidney, can live a long, healthy, viable life, and they just need to have the information presented to them properly.
That's the truth. My brother's been out there for 35 years after giving me his kidney. So I'm telling you what, it
That's
works.
phenomenal. That's
It works.
phenomenal.
Yeah,
That's
it works.
phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, and that you say, well, why would you? That's you're very lucky. I'm not lucky. I'm blessed.
Yeah.
And that person is out there. God's going to send that person. It's just a matter of timing. I know that person's out there. And no matter how we do this or how you do it, the more you talk about it, the more you explain it to people, the better chance you have of finding that donor.
Yeah. You're exactly right about that. I mean, I think behind all of this is the key component of it, of kidney transplant, dialysis is education, and that the more we can lean into the information and digest it, and then regurgitate it to other people that need to be aware of the situation, we're going to be better off for it. We definitely are.
If you do what we're teaching you to do, and you're going to the support group, finding out more and more and more information, it's only going to expose you to the people that can help you. You need help. If you think you can carry this weight by yourself, that's what Kidney Solutions does. No, you can't do that.
You can't.
No.
You can't. For instance, the Zoom meeting last night was so informative. It was about palliative care. It was about end of life care. There was other topics too, but just the tidbits that we can pick up, it's so informative and so helpful, because many times we go to dialysis, we're just kind of blindfolded, and there is help, but you got to ask for it.
And that's why I like to think that we're a mentoring organization.
100%. 100%.
And that to me is much more valuable than being a donor hunter. We're not out to look for donors, because God sends those people.
Yes,
you know that, David. You know that for sure.
Yep.
You don't find them. You don't find them.
No.
God's going to send them to you. And now the most important part of the whole thing is you keep it out there. And look at all the people that we've got working, and they're all doing it voluntarily. There's nothing, there's no money involved in this thing. It's a matter of empathy and love for the person with kidney disease, because it is horrible. All right. Been living with it all my life. I have several friends and acquaintances, including you, that are living it now. And I have friends who have been transplanted successfully for a long period of time, and friends that have been transplanted and lost their transplant within days. All right. All right. So this is not, a cure-all. Transplant isn't a cure-all, but it's the best thing we have right now.
Correct.
So all the things that you do right now should be centered around getting a living donor.
Correct.
And not taking and not denying yourself the chance of taking a kidney if it's offered. All right.
Yep.
But believe me, we're here for you. That's all you can say. You know that. And that's how all this works. You have somebody working with you, it's a big help.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right. So I think being a donor out there, if you're listening to this, you've been listening to this, make darn sure that you realize it's real simple. Give us a call at Kidney Solutions, 830-285-2140, and we will give you insight into how you can become a living donor. We're not going to beg you. We're not going to pay you. We're going to just encourage you to look at what is going on in your life. And if you feel obligated to yourself to think about it, we'll give you the answers you have in your mind. No one goes into this thing without wanting to get some questions answered. It's donating a kidney is probably the most important thing you can do in life, because it gives life. It's not a matter of you being so important in your life that you don't want to give something up. You're giving up life for somebody. Wow. Pretty hard to unjustify. It's there. It's very living, and it's something you need to do. At least think about. Give us a call. We'll work with you. We're really looking for the living donors for a lot of people out there. All right. I think right now we're looking at over 95 to 100,000 people on a waiting list. 12 to 13 people die a day waiting on a kidney. Come on. Where's your spirit? Say your prayers and give us a call, and then we'll work with it. We'll help you in any way that we can, and then we'll stay with you. We won't just hope that you'll donate. And if you do, we're going to stay with you and make your life as pleasant as it can be. That's what we want to do at Kidney Solutions. David, right now, I want to make sure that you understand that everything that you're doing is focused on transplant right now. It really has to be, right? Are you agreeing with that?
100%. Yep.
Okay. So there's nothing that we won't attempt, like podcasts or anything that you have, but those flyers, get them out into the community. Put them up at Whataburger. Put them up at, whatever. I have put them up in church and email them out to your friends and say, please send these out to your friends and just make it explode. Remember the old chain letters?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, that's essentially what email is, right?
That's correct.
If you send it to 5 people and ask them to share this, one of them might say, oh, I'd like to test for you. Okay, then we get a call. All right. And if those 5 send it out to 5 more and then 5 more, that's where you get your traction in advertising, trying to get the word out. And that's really what we want to do. Okay.
It's life-giving.
That's right. If in your mind now, this short little soliloquy that we did is important because it's your life. You are asking folks to consider doing a living donation, and all they got to do is call us at Kidney Solutions. Simple. We'll explain it to you, and we'll guide you through the process. All right, at no charge. $0 involved for David. $0 involved for you if you're a donor, potential donor. You'll never get a bill from us. So, anything else that you want to say, Dave?
Life givers, organ donation makes a difference. It gives life, and I'm looking to get my life back together again.
You really want to. You're a well-educated man. You have lots of years ahead of you. Can you imagine if you tack 35 years onto your age right now? Where will you be?
Oh my gosh.
That's how I did it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, use that because that's what we're going to do. That's what you're going to work for. And a living donor has the potential of being having you around a lot longer than anything else. We know. Yeah. So that's what we're shooting for, folks. So give us a call at Kidney Solutions, 830-285-2140. That number gets you all the information you need about becoming a living donor, not only for David Perchinsky, but for all the folks that we have waiting with at Kidney Solutions. Remember one thing too. If you have doubts, if you're scared, if you're concerned, if you think it doesn't work, if you've been told stories that don't make sense, give us a call. We'll fix it. We'll give you the right information. The information we give out is not medical. It's information that we've garnered through the years, 35, 40 years with kidney disease. And I can tell you one thing for sure, and take this to the bank. If you do this, it will make you a better person, a much better person. And it will save a life. So, till the next time, keep breathing.